Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We're going to work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities and ETFs that I follow. If you need any help with anything, check out my finding-value.com website. We've got a community there that we're building, and we go over individual stocks. We share a bunch of different things on the website. I will be setting up a training session for next week. We'll go over that during the question and answer session that we've got on Saturday at 7 a.m. So let's dive in. I'll give you my financial opinions as we go with this update. So we've got the dollar here, and look what we have today. We were slowly creeping down, and just boom. Big fat up candlestick with the dollar up 0.8%. That's going to be a dollar wrecking ball for sure. And I haven't even looked at the markets today. I had to take one of my kids for an appointment. So a big move in the dollar to the upside, and that does look like we could see higher dollar DXY. The 2-year yield, this is an interesting one. We've got this squeezing up of the pattern. Squeezing up. We pop down. A lot of the times you get a return move, which is what we've got, and then you usually fall afterwards. So to me, interesting to see that dollar rip it, and to see the weakness in the 2-year yield that could potentially be coming. Now, on the long end of the curve, my Lord, we are ripping higher. Up 2.6% today. Again, we're above support. We pulled on up, and here is our move potentially that we could go higher in the 10-year and in the 30-year yields. 30 years got the same thing. So this does look like we could head higher on the long end of the curve. This is a bear steepener. This is where the long end of the curve goes up and the short end stays roughly the same. Bear steepener is what it's called. TYX TNX ratio, again, we're hanging out, just moving sideways for the most part. If this goes up where the yield curve uninverts, that is where gold and silver like it. But we are still down here, guys, and that time has not come yet. TLT bond prices getting smoked again. Surprisingly, just getting ripped today to the downside for bond prices. So yields go up, bond prices go down. That is how it works. And this, to me, there's no bottoming pattern here, so it could go lower. Very much could go lower. Gold, it's hanging in there, but do we have further downside here? I kind of think we do. A lot of the times you get a lot of selling pressure, and then you get a weaker bounce, which we've written, and we could roll over here with yields going higher. Silver is going to be in the same situation. We could head lower in the short term for silver. I'm willing to bet the S&P went lower looking just at those yields and stuff. I haven't even looked at the S&P today. And platinum going lower too, and that does look like we could go lower in all of the metals. With the yields and the dollar shooting up like they did, we're getting these bearish engulfing patterns where we could head lower. Palladium also going to head lower with the crude. XEU to gold ratio, we did sell off today. Kind of a lot of carnage over there. And yields moving on up is what is driving that. The 10-year and the 30-year yields just gapping. And the dollar. They're all interconnected. CRB index holding on steady. That's generally related to energy pricing, crude oil, so it's kind of flat. And then we got the CRB to S&P 500 up today, which is my guess. CRB being flat, we must have had the S&P go down quite a bit today. So I do think this is going to probably head higher, moving on up if those yields go up like I think they will. GDX getting hit. This could go lower. That's a bearish engulfing. GDX, same thing. And SILJ, same thing. This could head a little bit lower with those yields rocketing on up. Crude oil moving sideways today. I do think this is going to work its way, kind of trampoline bounce sideways, and then it's going to grip it and rip it. It's going to grip and rip it to the upside if we get the strength and yields that could potentially come. TTF gas just absolutely ripping today, up 13.8%. This does look like a clear breakout. Look at that thing. We squeezed up into this corner here and relief of pressure. So that's looking really good to continue to the upside. Nat gas in America, we're down a little bit, but again, it's not much selling pressure up here, and we've had a good solid move upward. So think of this as a sideways channel, a flag pattern. Flag could be this way, any of those. It's just a continuation pattern to the upside is what it is. So I don't think we're going to see a ton of downside. That's, we could get a little bit more of a return move, but I think we're going to move on up in the short to midterm. XOP, yeah, me, down a little, or no, it's actually sideways, up 0.03%. Again, we're resting right underneath that neckline, guys. We are ready, locked and loaded, and well positioned for hopefully a move to the upside. Now, the only thing I don't like seeing in this, we have a bearish engulfing here, and then we've got this strong selling pressure clan here, these big 3 down days. I don't like seeing that, and that's generally not a precursor to a move that breaks to the upside. But if we get rates going up, and if the buyers step in here, because there's not going to be a lot of options when rates go up, inflation-sensitive oil and energy assets do well with increasing yields. So we'll watch it here and see which way it goes. I just don't like seeing this big selling pressure and then the weakness coming up. It makes me think that we still need to bounce a couple more times. OIH also has that same thing, bearish engulfing, the selling pressure move, and then we haven't bounced hugely yet. So it makes me think that we still have to bounce sideways for a while, and why crude oil may have a little bit more sideways action before heading higher. Scruffisky Uranium Trust still within the pattern. I just guessed this thing, threw it up there, and we'll see if this is it. Maybe that's all we get is that. I'll even leave that in there for you guys. Beautiful little pattern there. Here's URA. Again, we've got a down day today. We have wicks on the bottom. There is buying pressure down here. Is this a head and shoulders? I don't know, guys. I mean, everyone gets so afraid. Don't be afraid. I think the momentum on the longer term is up. We just got to get through this little bit of consolidation that we've got going on over the past couple of weeks or two. So let it work its way out, and the buyers are going to step in and rip at some point, and everyone's going to be jolly and fat again. Uranium, also selling pressure, but we're getting wicks on the bottom. There is buying pressure holding this thing up. So we sell off, and then we get buying pressure to pump us back up. You can see that we've got good buying pressure here. Now, is this the double bottom that we're looking for? A lot of the times what we see, here, let me get it lined so you guys can see this. A lot of times we sell off, we get a bounce, and then we come back to that exact same spot that we took off from. So we bounce from here, we come up, we come on back, and guys, we could very well get on our way here if we can break this little downtrend line in the short term. So we're getting close, and don't get too crazy here. Again, the short-term things can go either direction very quickly. That's why I do not trade the short term. But it does look good, like we could maybe bounce here if it's in the cards. Don't be afraid if they gap it down tomorrow. Then we pull on up and put in a bullish engulfing. I love buying those candlesticks, guys, which would be a reversal candlestick if that shows up. I'm not stating that that's going to show up, but look for it because we do have the wicks on the bottom here, which means there is support and there is buyers there. So watch for it. URNJ's got the same type of pattern. Buyers down here, the wicks, and that generally occurs somewhere in that general vicinity is where we could do a double bottom. And then we'll see what that goes. Maybe we have another trampoline jump to do. Again, we're consolidating and we'll see what happens. We want to start to see the big green candlesticks come into our life again. They save our lives. Green candlesticks save lives, guys. Tan, a little bit of a selling pressure day. Yeah, it's right back to support. Doesn't like those stronger yields. I don't like the stronger yields either, guys. I really don't. But we're sitting right on support. COPX down. Again, we're still in this channel going sideways, but it's been a ride, guys. This is they call this rocky road. So this is your consolidation. This is your continuation pattern, and I'm looking for a move, hopefully higher over time, but it's not coming with these yields blasting off to the moon. Lithium right back at the resistance level, support resistance level right on top of it. REMX support resistance level right on top of it. We're right there on top of it. S&P 500. Oh man, that looks ugly. That looks like we could go lower here. Again, the S&P and the Nasdaq have not priced in the yields at where they're at. We are underneath this support zone here, guys. This thing could fall out. We could have explosive diarrhea here to the downside. Explosive diarrhea. Get ready. This is a bearish candlestick. It's called the bearish engulfing. Look for downside pressure. And if we get upside pressure with yields, I don't like the way this thing looks. And we could get an everything sell-off across the board. NASDAQ, same thing. We've got more explosive diarrhea potential. This is your breakout, your bearish engulfing breakout right there. And this is another bearish engulfing. Think of it as a double bottom, but a double kind of intermediate top that could roll over. Let's watch it tomorrow together during this daily technical analysis update. We'll see it tomorrow. KRE looks like we're getting, I don't know. Man, look at this thing. We're coming up. Looks like we got some sort of squeezing going on here. But, I don't like, if that's your your flagpole kind of, put it this way too, your flagpole comes up squeezing. If it breaks to the downside, everything else seems to be breaking to the downside. We could see further downside here. Emerging markets, yeah, it's not going to like that dollar blast off. So again, big down candlestick could see further downside with stronger yields and dollar. XHB totally puking on itself. This is not a beautiful looking chart. This is a chart for still going down. Big down candlestick. Big down candlesticks. Big down candlesticks. Big down candlesticks. Someone's selling this. Yeah, we could see more downside in the home builders ETF. Moo also selling off a little bit. Not as drastic as some of the other ones, but again, we could hit down into the low 70s. Upper 60s, low 70s is a possibility. Copper, it is looking a little bit, it's holding in there. It's holding in there. This is a weird looking thing. We had nice movement coming up, sell off, nice movement. I would have guessed that we were going to break up out here, but it didn't. It didn't break out. It went down, and we got this big bearish engulfing there. It's like someone's trying to push this lower, but the overall market doesn't want to go lower. That's why we're not seeing follow through with it. Interesting chart pattern here. Again, we'll see what happens with yields in the overall markets and see if copper does sell out. And this is Dr. Copper. It's kind of still sitting there, confused on where it wants to go. Hasn't come out of the closet yet. Iron ore coming on up. And I'm still very bullish on iron ore here. We're broken to the upside. We've got our downward move, and it's been in a controlled, nice, small selling pressure fashion. I think this is going to rip to the upside at some point, and I think it can do it very quick. We've got a good little setup here. We'll see if that can continue to the upside. Nickel, again, there's no green army showing up here. I'd avoid it. JP Morgan's got its hands around the neck of nickel right now. Aluminum, down a little bit today. We have had a lot of selling pressure here. Looks like we had the nice, good old momentum to rip. What the heck happened to aluminum? Obviously, someone stole aluminum's girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever it is, and it's not happy right now. So it's crying a sea of red. We've got Baltic Dry Index. Baltic Dry Index, I'm very positive on Baltic. I still think we're going to go higher with it. We've broken out of a pretty big pattern. We've got Newcastle Coal ripping 3.1%. That's looking pretty good. Nice little bounce higher today. And I do think this is going to bounce up with natural gas. Remember TTF gas. TTF gas was up, what was it, 13, 14% or whatever it was. Yeah, Newcastle Coal is going to be following it, and I think we could see some good moves there. Bitcoin getting a little bit of the barf leaking out of its mouth a little bit today. And Ethereum's also got the explosive diarrhea. Sorry, guys. Hopefully you guys would. This is the trend line. We broke it on a big solid down candlestick, and we have not recovered. So liquidity is perhaps drying up, and that is what we're seeing in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and why they've broken to the downside of their uptrend lines. So that's what we've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. We have discount as a coupon code. And that's where I go over the individual companies of all these different sectors, the ones I like. And again, we kind of cherry pick each sector that looks good at the time, and that's when I add in. I don't add in across the board. I say, this looks good. It's breaking the pattern. I'm going to add in here. Or this one's squeezing up into a corner. Let's watch this. But overall, guys, yields going up, dollar going up like that. The overall market's looking a little bit toppy here. It doesn't look good. It does not look good. We've got the yield curve. Let's look at the yield curve real quick. We've got the 2 and 10 yield curve. It's hanging in there. But if this thing starts to drop, guys, where we see the low end, the 2-year yield, if we see this 2-year yield drop out, which I think it might, we could see a big pullback here in the markets. So that is what we want to watch. 2-year yield in relationship to the other ones. And we might see this thing come on and basically uninvert. And we've got the overall markets are positioned for a fall. NASDAQ and S&P, it doesn't look good. It looks like we're written big selling candlesticks in the home builders. And, now might be a time to get a little bit more defensive right now, if you'd like. And maybe stack a little cash on the side, because we could be seeing a pullback if this all comes coming around. But we'll see that as we go. And again, we'll watch it every single day, and we'll see when it starts to go. All right, guys, that's what I've got for today. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.